So, hello everyone. Today we are here with a very special person, someone who has secured All India rank 229, and I'm feeling extremely delighted to have Aswini G with us. And I'm feeling even more delighted to share with all of you that she was our Sociology Foundation student. So, and this was also one of the reasons why I wanted to have this session as soon as possible so that maximum students can benefit and know what strategy did Aswini employ in her journey to get this highly coveted rank. So Aswini, we welcome to this live session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And most of the students can take maximum benefit out of this. So before we proceed with the session, Aswini, we would let the other students also write in comments if our voice and video is fine to them or not. So all the students who are live and who will be joining us live in a bit of time, if they can let us know if we are audible to them enough, or should we increase the volume? अजय एक बार तुम भी देख लेना. I think it's fine because there is a lag also, so we will just proceed with the session while they are letting us know if we are audible to them or not. So Aswini, your first reaction on this year's prelim, because this is something that has turned out to be very dreadful this year.
Yes, sir.
People are, used to feel self-doubt until last year, but this year they are actually doubting on UPSC. So if you were to appear for this year prelims once again, although you are not appearing, but
Yes,
what would you think of this paper?
Sir, I'm very thankful that I cleared before this prelims. I got a rank, but this prelims was like that to me. When I saw the paper, I was in complete shock that every question, 60% of the paper was changed totally. The options were only one option, only two options. To answer those questions, we need to know not something, very much about everything about the statements. So we have to know whether the statement is right or wrong with 100% knowledge. So that was very difficult for me. But sir, some questions were doable. The polity section and environment section were doable. Whereas history will use mostly elimination technique, since the syllabus is very vast. We'll use literature type of questions. We'll know one or two literatures, or the other two in the match the following type of questions will not be knowing. But this year the question pattern has changed. But I think in order to answer this kind of question paper, we need more depth and knowledge on all these subjects. Earlier it was to know something about everything, but now it is to know everything about everything.
But would you agree with those students who are suggesting that 𝐉𝐿𝐼𝐶 is not enough? Because see, there are many questions which are still doable from 𝐉𝐿𝐼𝐶. Okay.
Yes, sir. No, sir. The source need not to be changed, but we need more clarity on the concepts and events which we are reading. Even in international relations, we will read only the I think I couldn't put it in words, but we'll read it on a lighter note. But now we need more deeper clarity on international relations. The question on Saudi Arabia, peace dealing with other states, but we all know that it is USA. So there were questions which can be doable, sir, but then the source stays intact, sir. No need to change 𝐉𝐿𝐼𝐶. We have to read the same source with much deeper understanding. That is my view on this paper, sir.
So over the last 3 days, many students have come to us and asked us about this kind of examination that UPSC is coming up with, this kind of pattern. And we also used to suggest them only one thing, that this does not require you to change your sources, because think those people who are again going to qualify this year prelims also, they did not refer any extraordinary source. They could do whatever they could do with the source which they had referred for so many years. And I believe at the end of the day, however difficult the question paper might be, it's our task is to find those 40 questions which are doable. And if not all the 40, at least those 30 questions which are doable. And then, but what happens is when you come across such questions in the middle of your paper, you come across questions on history or specifically ancient history or art and culture or environment. Okay, and there was one question also that there is one animal which would dance to help others know where the food is located. So these are questions, although one may get very baffled when you look at such questions, but these are, these are some of the tricks, not just questions that UPSC does employ, only to check your psyche, only to see how well managed your mindset is. Okay. So I think even in paper one, they are checking aptitude only. Okay, although
yes, sir, the calmness. If we are calm, I think we could do this paper in a better, with a better cutoff also, sir.
Exactly. So Aswini, we'll start with some of the questions that student always wanted me to ask you, since you are you are not in Delhi. So I think this was the best way to have you with us and to help students address their queries. So one question which before I ask a question on their behalf, I would like to ask you, what would you suggest to those people who are not anticipating to qualify prelims this year? What should they do? If you are clear that I'm not clearing prelims this year, what should you do in that case?
Sir, in my case, I'll tell them what I did. So when I was not clearing prelims in some of my earlier attempts, I dedicated that period for my mains preparation, sir. Because mains is the one which will get us into the rank list. So, sir, we need to prepare for optional and GS together. We can join any test series and we can analyze ourselves. The answer writing skill is the main thing in mains part of the examination, sir. So without knowing answer writing, after qualifying prelims, if we are getting into that, it will put us into more pressure. So earlier we can prepare for the mains by joining any GS test series and also optional test series, and to improve our answer writing skills. Also, reading mains also helps us in preparing for prelims, sir. Because in prelims we'll have only the lighter knowledge, and for mains we need to remember each and every word to write it in the paper, which will only reflect the knowledge of the candidate to the examiner who is correcting the paper. So we have to retention capacity has to be more for mains examination. This will also help us in clearing prelims, sir. So I would suggest dedicating this mains period for mains, even for candidates who are not anticipating to clear. But sir, this year I think we cannot tell who is going to clear and who is not going to clear. So it is better to start their mains preparations, sir.
Okay. So what you are saying is that irrespective of the result, whether he or she is qualifying or not, he or she should definitely start preparing for the mains, because he or she does not have any other choice. One cannot restart the prelims preparation, especially right after the prelims exam. So
yes,
you're suggesting them to join some test series to enhance their writing skills and to compete against those people who are going to write this main, so that they are at least mains ready, if not prelims ready this year. Okay. And this suggestion stays the same for those people who are anticipating to qualify prelims.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's start from the scratch, Aswini, focusing on sociology now. Why did you choose sociology? Because many people struggle in choosing an optional. They may take at least 3-4 months. Sometimes some people take 2 years also before they decide or zero in on any optional. What was your reason behind taking sociology?
Sir, I had 3 reasons. When I came into preparing this examination, I searched for higher scoring subjects. So sociology, anthropology, these kind of subjects had higher scores in their optionals, with more candidates also getting higher scores. But other options like maths and all, even I love maths, but I didn't choose maths because only some people are getting the 300. If there is a analysis in the maths paper, only few will get 300, whereas the others will be in the lower side of the marking pattern. It is either 300 or it is 200. So it's like that. But in sociology, it's average is 250, sir. So because of the higher scoring subject, I chose sociology. And other is the availability of resources. So people to guide us, like you, sir, we have many resources, which is also another constraint that we have in this exam, because we need to limit sources. Third reason is the concise syllabus, sir. These are the three reasons I chose sociology as my optional subject, and also in order to learn about society's functioning, sir. I was curious to know about the society's functioning, so I did choose this optional subject, sir.
Okay. So you pointed out three major reasons. One was, as you said, that you were looking for a subject that would give you that score.
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
Second was the availability of resources. And the third factor that you talked about was?
Syllabus, concise syllabus, sir.
Concise syllabus, okay. And fourthly, you talked about your interest, that you wanted to understand of society.
Functioning of society.
So Aswini, can you tell me to what extent does the role of interest play a major factor? I mean, to what extent should we believe that interest is primary thing? We should look for interest and not score, because some people say interest is primary, some people say not score is primary. So, although we can't quantify these things, ki kitna percentage interest hai, but still, after score, how much do you think interest is more is important? Because some people blindly follow the scoring thing without knowing whether they really find interest in the subject or not. Isko kaise figure out?
Sir, interest is also important because we need to study the subject. We need to internalize the subject in order to give quality answers. Without internalizing the subject, just memorizing and writing won't help in giving different unique answers. So interest plays an important role in learning the subject, sir. Coming from an engineering background and learning humanities, that was very hard for me in the initial times. That took me these many attempts, but now I love the subject more than my engineering graduation, because this subject is like it is teaching us how the society is functioning, what is happening in the society, is why that is happening. So these things were known only after I read the sociology, took sociology as my optional. So interest plays an important role, sir, but score is the one which gets us into the list. So both interest and score plays an important role in choosing optionals. Yes, sir.
Okay, so Aswini, what was the major role of the foundation classes, since you are a foundation student in sociology? To what extent do you feel the role of foundation class in your preparation and in terms of the score that you got? Many people are not able to afford coaching. What would you say to them? And how was your experience with us in foundation class?
Sir, I joined Level Up Sociology Foundation course in 2020. That year was a COVID year and exams got postponed. I had ample amount of time, but before that, in my mains time, I enrolled in a course called Daily Answer Writing Mentorship Program, DAMP program. In that, I found that your reviews and evaluating my answers was very useful to my preparation. So why not use this period for doing a foundation course? Even though I have did many other foundation courses earlier, I wanted to do a new one since I have time, and also in order to improve my marks. Earlier, I had scored only 250 in my optional, so I wanted to improve my score to get into the list. So I thought I would join this course, sir. And this course helped me a lot to improve my answers, and also not just answer writing, but also getting clarity about the subject, the way thinkers portion was explained. And sir, you will write answers in the class itself. You yourselves will write answers in the classes to make us understand how this answers needs to be done. So that was very helpful for me in order to improve my answer writing skills. Though I know the content since I have done foundational courses earlier, I didn't know what to write and what not to write in the answers. So how many thinkers should we use? Or if there is a particular question on common sense in sociology, the same question gets repeated every year, but with a different connotation. So how to address all these questions? It was very helpful in these manners.
The major thing I believe, as Aswini also pointed out, was the role of previous year questions that we used to solve in the class.
Yes, sir. That helped me a lot.
It is definitely important to have conceptual clarity, but then comes the role of previous year question and your practice on writing. And yes, I used to ensure that all my students are good with writing. And that is why I integrated test series in foundation course itself. Because generally these things are sold as commodity, separately, but I always wanted that you get everything under one roof. And since you were initially daily answer writing student, so this also helped you to get a good grasp on writing aspect, and then you decided to have better conceptual clarity, or maybe some areas that might have been missing in your notes. Okay, so you joined foundation for that. And there are many students who have been, part of our course, and there is one more student from our foundation, Shubham Nokbar, who I would be inviting soon for a session before I invite other students from crash course and daily answer writing. So Aswini, what was your strategy to get 293? Because see, I'm sure you might not have planned this, okay, that I want 293. Okay, but I'm sure you might have planned something to get maximum.
Yes.
So, and what was that strategy? Would you like to share with us?
Sir, first mains, my optional score was just 200. Put together paper 1 and paper 2. Second mains, my optional score was 250. But I wanted to improve it to 270. My target was 270, but I landed up in 293. And what I did in this year's optional is I wrote many tests, sir. So test answer writing, I practiced a lot of answer writing to reproduce the content which I read already. I know I read, but I couldn't recollect that in the examination. The correct thinker names. For example, sir, this year's mains, there was a question in paper 1 where the question was describe something where ideological politics turned into identity politics. There was a question in paper 1 this year, but that portion you taught us in paper 2. And you mentioned a thinker particularly for that, Yogendra Yadav, sir, as a thinker. So this I remembered there, sir.
You still remember that?
Yes, sir.
Very nice.
So I remembered that and I wrote it in paper 1. So this kind of recollection was easier when I had written many tests. So test answer writing practice is one strategy. And second is, sir, I saw many toppers answers. So whatever they had uniqueness in their papers, I made it incorporation in my answers also. And third is, sir, using events that I took from your classes. For example, in religion topic, there was sacred and profane is what we read in static portion. But this year's due to hijab issue and many other issues, there was essentiality and non-essentiality of religion, which you taught us in class. So I wrote that in my answers. So incorporating these daily events into answer writing. This brought uniqueness in my answers. So I think these things I did work on to get 293 in my optional.
Okay, so basically you have pointed out 3 things that helped you get 293. One was extensive focus on answer writing, which you did.
Yes, sir.
And this is something that I would suggest to everyone. They should practice as much as possible, and they should time themselves while writing so that they could come to know कि वो कितना लिख पा रहे हैं कितने time में. And secondly, you talked about referring to answers of toppers, which is very strategy. I always suggest students कि भाई toppers की copies तो आपने देखनी हो, देखनी ही पड़ेगी, चाहे आपने फाउंडेशन कहीं से भी किया हो, चाहे टेस्ट सीरीज कहीं भी लगाई हो, डज नॉट मैटर, बिकॉज यू शुड नो हाउ and what kind of marks are given to people who get what kind of answers people write who are getting high scores, and what examiner is really looking for is something that you would get to know only when you refer those copies. कभी कभी क्या होता है, जो मैं बोलता भी हूँ कि आपका आंसर जब तक विजिबल नहीं है तब तक आपके मार्क्स नहीं आएंगे. इट इज नॉट अबाउट हाउ मेनी थिंग्स यू हैव फ्लडेड योर आंसर विद. Okay, how many pages you might have filled does not matter as long as your answer is not visible. Okay, so visibility is something that you easily understand when you refer toppers copy. उनकी कॉपी उठा के लगता है कि यार कितना सिंपल है. And sometimes Ashwini, what happens is when you refer toppers copy, you get surprised that if he could get 280, then so I could get 320, because we start underestimating him or her. Because we start feeling he has written so simple.
Yes, sir.
So this is also something that we should, as aspirants, we should avoid this tendency to undermine the topper's copy, because what they have written is what is actually desired by examiner. Examiner does not like checking answer copy. This is the worst thing on the planet. Okay, it's actually one of the worst jobs to evaluate someone's copy. It is actually very rigorous exercise. And everybody would want to save their time, and nobody likes having samosa and chai every time, while evaluating the copies. So you should make their job easier by making your answer visible. Okay, so Ashwini, the next question which I would like to ask you is, some people believe जितने ज़्यादा scholars हम लिखेंगे उतने ज़्यादा marks आ जाएंगे. Do you think there is a correlation between number of scholars and number of marks?
No, sir. Dumping scholar names in answers I think it will get a negative impression from the examiner. Sir, writing many relevant thinkers will help us to get more marks. Even if we are using one thinker, it should be more relevant to that particular question. And writing more examples will have more mark scoring strategy, in my opinion, sir.
Okay, so you are saying instead of writing 10 scholars, it's better to write 3, 4, or at max 2, 3 with
yes, sir.
3,
more
4
relevance.
And
yes, sir.
So you are saying that quality of scholar is more important than quantity of scholars.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And same goes with paper 2 also?
The paper 2, I used the classical thinkers and also the new age thinkers, which you have mentioned in our classes. So I used only those thinkers, sir, and more of examples in paper 2 answers. I chose the questions in which I know thinkers, sir. Thinkers are important, but then dumping the questions with thinkers. So the question where one of the question was about untouchability types that is found in India. So that question you would have taught us with vast knowledge. There is more content for me to write, but that question was asked in a 10 marker. But I know that if I write that question, I'll get some 7 marks for 10 with that scholars and the analysis, the survey which people get. So I chose that question. So choosing questions in which we know the scholars also helps us in scoring more so.
Okay. So you said very nice thing. You said that choosing question is also very important.
Yes.
How should we make choices? If I am given a choice between static question and contemporary, although there is no hard line distinction, but still, let's take a hypothetical situation. One is purely static set, and second is purely contemporary set. Which one would you prefer and why?
Sir, my choice of questions will be based on the content I have. If I have more content to write for a contemporary question, I would choose that question rather than choosing the static question, because everyone will go for the static question. So if I have content and I can prove and write that I know this thing about the contemporary event that is asked in the question, I'll go for the contemporary one rather going for the static one, sir. So based on my content, I'll choose. Static portion, if we are writing, it should be kept simple, sir, in my opinion, that you have said. first write the basic and then bring on the advanced thing into your answers. So that strategy I followed in my this year's mains optional paper.
Okay. So if you have content to deal with contemporary questions, then you should deal with the contemporary question. But
Yes,
if you
sir.
should always opt for the static one. But one thing should be clear, that it is not that examiner is going to get impressed just because you attempted contemporary questions. So there is
Yes,
no
sir.
such kind of thing.
Biasness.
Yeah. So it all depends on your content only at the end of
Yes,
the day.
sir.
So okay. So Aswini, very important question, and very soon, I'll be taking the question which are posed by students in the YouTube comments also. So students, मैं आप लोग के क्वेश्चन भी अब लेने वाला हूँ थोड़ी ही देर में, बस hardly 5 minutes more. One question that I would like to ask you is, how should we limit our sources in the age of information overload? So many sources are there. How did you decide to limit yourself to specific one and to rely on them only?
Sir, I referred multiple sources, but made one source for me through my notes, sir. One is the class notes from foundational courses, and I added that value added that notes with toppers answers, some unique points what they have, and some newspaper things. Each and every topic has my own handwritten notes, sir. So limiting the sources is for me, it is writing notes. Referring multiple books is not like we can refer multiple books, but we cannot study from multiple books every time we are giving examination. So making our own notes for each topics in the syllabus, for example, religion topic or the polity and society topic, NGO. So if pressure group is a topic, we need to have some thinkers and some data content written in our own hands. I prefer handwritten notes. So this is how I limited my sources, sir. And having multiple sources and studying from multiple sources each time, it will drain our energy, and also it will not help in recollecting points in the examination point of view, sir.
Okay. तो आप कह रहे हो कि आपने रेफर तो किए सोर्सेज, लेकिन इवेंचुअली आपने अपने खुद का नोट भी बना लिया, जो कि जरूरी होता है. If you do not have your own note, then you will struggle with revision of all the sources that you might have referred, and it is very difficult task. Okay, specifically for the examination. So students, आप सब लोग अगर जो भी नोट रेफर करते हो, अगर आप अपने खुद के नोट नहीं बना रहे हो और आप सिर्फ बुक्स में हाईलाइट कर रहे हो, तो फिर आप लोग बहुत गलत काम कर रहे हो. यू शुड डेफिनेटली हैव योर ओन नोट्स. ऑप्शनल तो सबसे बड़ा वेटेज होल्ड करता है, तो इसमें तो आपके खुद के नोट्स होने ही चाहिए. ओके, सो next is importance of PYQ analysis and answer writing, although this is something that we have already taken. But
Yes,
in brief statement, if you were to say anything on answer writing, because many people keep thinking कि हम तो जब लिखेंगे तो अपना बेस्ट लिखेंगे, और वो बेस्ट के चक्कर में they keep delaying the process of answer writing. And some people also think कि भाई अभी तो हमने कुछ पढ़ा ही नहीं, आंसर कैसे लिखेंगे? What would you suggest to them?
Sir, if we are done with a particular unit or some 3-4 units for starting answer writing in sociology, I think the first 4 units first 3 units needs to be covered, or even first 2. After covering first 2, after doing the basics, you started answer writing in our foundational courses. Not completing the full syllabus and then answer writing. It's in between the course that we had daily answer writing, and also the mini test series that was included in the foundation course. So we need not delay the answer writing process. Instead, we start after doing some basics on sociology and then start answer writing. And we did, after every unit, we solved PYQs in the class itself. We took one question, and also you gave us assignments to write the questions and see. I followed everything in what we did in our foundational course. And it also gives us analysis on which particular topic has more weightage and which is which can be taken lightly. So this analysis also can be done when we are practicing PYQs in sociology. So PYQs and answer writing should be done in the initial stages of our preparation itself. So that is how our foundational course is also designed. So I think it will help aspirants well.
Here I would like to share one thing, that Aswini used to score highest even in the foundation classes. So
Yes,
she
sir.
would be one of the topper right through her first test in the foundation
Yes,
class,
sir.
the last one. And this always used to, give some kind of, what should I say, a relief to me that, okay, there are few candidates who have potential and who can give their best if given a chance. And
Yes,
I
sir.
think this is why, and I would not have realized that people like Aswini exist in our batches if we had no test series program integrated. So test actually helps the teacher also to understand what kind of students we have and what issues they are struggling, or what issues they are going through, so that we can help them. So Aswini, last question which I would like to take here before we open the session to questions by a student. If you were not selected this year, okay, God forbid, okay, you are selected and you have gotten a very prestigious rank, 229, most probably Aswini, students, she is going to get IPS this year, most probably, and she, yesterday, she also had a chance to meet one of the officials in the DGP office in Chennai. And but if by chance you were not selected, Aswini, were you going to write this year's attempt, or you were going to skip, or you were going to do something else?
Sir, I planned that I'm going to skip this attempt because I had an instinct that I'll get through in this attempt. But sir, from the earlier phase, that is from prelims, I didn't think of the results in this particular attempt. Earlier attempts, I would think I should get through mains and get through. I have to get an interview call. But this time, I didn't think of interview call or the final results. I wanted to make justification to each and every answer that I write in the mains. So even for the history, geography, or other subjects, I wanted to justify myself that I did okay, satisfied attempt. I should give a satisfied attempt. This was my aim in this particular attempt, sir. So I didn't think of any backup plan. But if I want to had a backup plan, I think I would have gone for teaching, sir. Other than that, I didn't have any other backup plans in this field, sir.
Okay. So, Aswini, since you talked about teaching as a backup, as a teacher, since you have had an experience of being a teacher also, as a teacher, the way you study, and as a student, the way you study, how different these two domains are. And what you might have realized that as a teacher, that you are different from what you are as a student.
Yes, sir.
So, can you help students understand the difference between how a teacher studies and a student should study, so that they do not study like a teacher?
Sure, sir. So for a student, it is that if we are skipping this or postponing the particular targets that we have set for a day, it is going to only affect us, the particular student. But as a teacher, when I have to take notes, and tomorrow if I have to present it in class and it is going to go for some around 50, 60 students, I need more careful. I need to be more careful and dedicated in I think being a teacher is more difficult than being a candidate and studying for ourselves. It is more easier, I think, sir.
Okay.
So yes.
So
Sir.
you are saying that students should not become PhD scholar here when they are studying for UPSC examination. They should limit their sources and not become teacher.
Yes, sir.
Because teaching is a different thing altogether. You need to go in details, which a student is not really required to undergo. Okay, for example.
Yes,
So Aswini, let's start to take questions from the student side. First question is posed by Akash Kadam. How one should plan from now for 2023 mains for sociology and GS? अभी से क्या plan करें 23 के mains और GS के लिए?
So 23 mains or 24 mains?
Akash, you are talking about 23 mains or 24 mains? I think you are talking about 24 only, क्योंकि अभी से का sense बनेगा नहीं तो अभी नहीं तो फिर कब? I think you are talking about 24. Let me take this question once again. Once I get clarity from you, तब तक हम आगे देखते हैं क्वेश्चन. फिनालिजिमा, एक तो बड़े इंटरेस्टिंग नाम रखते हैं लोग यूट्यूब पे अपने. What should be the strategy towards revision and note making? How should be the revision notes be made, Ashwini?
So revision notes after seeing multiple sources. So the first basic source is the basis from the foundational courses. Whichever foundational course we are taking, the class notes is the base. And value addition should be done from newspapers or toppers' answers into that particular topic. So revision should be done in the class notes itself. So I think it is already spoken that class notes plus toppers answers or the newspaper even should be made into one particular top note, and we have to revise it multiple times to recollect better in the examination.
Okay. Ashwini, आपके खुद के revision notes कितने बड़े थे? Or were they many registers? What kind of?
Sir, since it's handwritten notes, it is 400 pages for paper 1 and 400 pages for paper 2. That's it, sir.
Okay. Fine. How would you evaluate whatever you are writing by your own? So he's asking, can we evaluate ourselves? Akash Kadam.
So evaluation, it cannot be minute in our own perspective. Maybe a third person can evaluate in a minor corrections can be done. But if we are evaluating our own paper, it is like we have to, the drastic change will be known if we are evaluating ourselves. Like what I did mistake in the last previous attempts and what I am focusing now. The self-analysis part will bring in the improvements, not the microscopic perspective, it cannot be done. But how to recall the thinkers, how I can retain more to reproduce it in the examination, and what all examples can be value added in the answer writing. So these can be done if we are self-evaluating ourselves. Okay. I think there is a need for other third-person evaluation in this examination, in my perspective, sir.
Otherwise, our answer will always look like best answer, right?
Best answer. Or else or the other side also, sir, that we are not writing good answers. Yeah. Though it is a good answer, we'll feel that it is not enough for the...
Every time.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Akash Reddy. Ma'am, did you write sociology answers in GS style like writing through flowcharts, diagrams, answering in single line points as well as underlining the answer? This is first question.
No, sir. GS is different style and optional is, since it is a humanities paper, more of writing is required for this paper. So in GS, we'll add maps and flowcharts more. But here, even if we are adding a flowchart, it is very limited. Like if 10 marks is there, 1% of the paper space can be used for flowcharts. And in paper 2, maps for village studies. So even it is included in my answer, it will be only small part of my answer. Other than that, paragraph writing, where each one paragraph contains 3 lines, maximum 3 lines. No one-line answers. I didn't write any one-line answers. So GS completely different, and sociology, I had a different style of writing answers in sociology.
Okay. And many students wanted to go through your copy also. Some of the copies have been uploaded. Students, in my Telegram channel, you can simply join the Telegram channel or the Telegram group. The link for the same is shared in the description box of YouTube. If not, then we will be sharing very soon. So you can go through all the toppers copies who were registered with us. So let me come to the next question. Akash, second question that Akash wants to bring in is, how to read current affairs for sociology, and from where we should read, and from which period current affairs required for sociology as well as GS.
Sir, there is not very old current affairs is not required, sir, but the current happenings, which you yourself will let us know in the foundational course. Also in test series also, you will include each current events. So I think that was enough, sir. That was enough to include in the answer writing. Even after test series, you would put some free videos on YouTube relating the current events to the mains writing students. So that also is enough. Not very much current or contemporary events is required in answer writing, but here and there some examples where the theories of thinkers like suicide theory, if it is there, and we can include some farmer suicides, and in religion theory some religious events we can include, and even pandemic it is also considered as a religion, and in 75th Independence Day Har Ghar Tiranga is also considered a religion in the Kim's point of view. So these kind of events we can include, and no need to give more focus on the including contemporary events in the answers. Limited resources can be referred to, like your YouTube videos on the current events, linking it to sociological aspects. That is enough, I think, sir.
Okay. तो आकाश, अगर मैं सिंपली बोलूं, अश्विनी भी यही कह रही है कि आप करंट को एक्सक्लूसिव फोकस मत दो सोशियोलॉजी के लिए, आप अपना स्टैटिक स्ट्रांग रखो, करंट खुद ब खुद सब सॉर्ट कर देते हैं हम लोग यहाँ पे, वैसे भी टेस्ट सीरीज में और कई वीडियोस में यूट्यूब पे डाल देता हूँ करंट अफेयर के लिए, ताकि आपको स्ट्रगल ना करना पड़े उस चीज के लिए, क्योंकि करंट का वेटेज है अपने आप में, है एक उसकी अलग जगह है, but running after current won't help you in sociology unless your static is strong enough to apply the same thing in current on your own. तो आपका static strong रखो, current आप खुद ही अच्छा बना लोगे, एप्लीकेशन शायद मेरे से भी अच्छा कर लोगे अगर आपने static अपना strong रखा। Ankit Mahadev, what are the standard sources followed by you, man? Ankit is asking. He might have missed the conversation that we had.
Yes,
Assuming,
sir.
एक बार आप फिर से बता दीजिए क्या sources are.
I didn't refer to any standard book like Harlem Bose and other books. It is very humongous task to refer to multiple standard books and take. So I referred to only class notes and here and there topper copies. That's it, sir. I didn't go after standard books. As you have mentioned in our classes that books are very vast and people writing sociology need not refer to books. I'll give everything from the books. So I didn't refer to any standard books. So.
Even when I suggest, Ashwini, to students that you don't need to refer books, they get shocked. ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है? तो कुछ तो गड़बड़ होगी अगर बुक्स ही नहीं बोल रहे.
That is very complicated writing in those standard books. People from engineering background like us don't understand those writings in the book.
Yes, yes. And also it's very difficult to extract something
What
which
is
needs to
needed.
be written on the final day from the book. The book
Yes,
is not PSE anyhow. So, Imra Pare, should we prefer any book or notes will quench the thirst of examiner? My God. So see, Imra, the thirst of examiner can be quenched easily with your notes. Okay, you don't need to refer big books like Harlem Bose, Ritzer, or any other big books. If you can find good notes, and not just finding notes, it's also important for you to understand the notes. If you find notes, but if you're not able to understand the notes, come to us. We can help you figure out those notes, and also we can help you understand the concepts. Okay, but don't just run after the notes. You should make your own notes, as Ashwini also said, that despite reading different things, she at the end of the day made her own notes. Okay, so that is very important for you. Imra, should we use bold words or simple in answer writing? Should we keep the text bold or simple one in concept? Does these things matter according to you? Highlighting or
highlighting, underlining the keywords is important, sir, in my perspective, because it will bring the focus of the examiner immediately after he sees the answer. And also, sir, some keywords you will also, while writing in the board, the answers, you will highlight some words in bold letters. So I did that in my answer writing, sir. If there is a keyword and it is very important, I want the examiner to see that particular word in my answer, I'll write it in capital letters and also underline the words. These two highlighting methods I followed in answer writing.
Yes. तो जितने भी स्टूडेंट्स हैं, आप सब लोग को जो क्वेश्चन में जो सेंट्रल कीवर्ड है उसको अलग से इंसर्कल कर लेना चाहिए. अपने लिए। क्वेश्चन देखते ही समझ नहीं आया क्वेश्चन को ब्रेक डाउन कर दो, कीवर्ड्स को इंसर्कल कर दो, और वो सेंट्रल कीवर्ड देखो जिसके पूरे अराउंड क्वेश्चन वो बना है, उस सेंट्रल कीवर्ड की डेफिनेशन से स्टार्ट करना है। डोंट रन आफ्टर कोट्स कि पहले मैं कोट मार दूंगा एक 𝗏𝗏 और मार्क्स का, ठीक है, हिस्ट्री ऑफ ऑल स्ट्रगल इज ए थर्ड क्लास स्ट्रगल ओनली। तो इस तरह का कोट का कोई जरूरी नहीं है जब तक आप प्रिसीशन अपनी रख रहे हो। ओके, सो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, प्रज्वल, मैम डिड यू सेल्फ एनालाइज योर आंसर्स एंड इम्प्रूव अपॉन? Prajwal, as she has already spoken about this, so I'll answer this on her behalf because she may get tired by answering the same questions. Okay, so I'm also sorry, Prajwal, but she has already spoken is that it's very difficult to analyze one's own answer. Okay, if I start analyzing my own answer, I would always consider my answer as the best answer. Okay, only very few people are there who would actually be interested to know what mistakes have we committed, and those people actually score much better than the person who is feeling complacent with his answer writing. Okay, so you should never get complacent. You should always seek help of a mentor or the teacher or guide or any book or any your friend, but never ever evaluate all by yourself. Next, Rohan, ma'am, how to analyze PYQs?
The PYQs, we need to know what kind of questions has been asked and what direction the question is asked. For example, PYQs of Durkheim's theory on religion has been asked many times, but in a different times. Sometimes it is asked how to incorporate the religion's theory of Durkheim into Indian society. So the PYQs gives us various dimensions in which this question can be asked. We read the theory separately, that religion theory or suicide theory of Durkheim, we read it separately. But in what all dimensions can that question be asked when the examination can be known while solving PYQs. So after doing with every unit, we need to know what are the previous year questions asked from that unit and how many are asked so that we can analyze the weightage of that particular unit. So PYQs will help in analyzing the strength of the unit and also the dimensions of the unit. Also gives us more scope in answer writing.
Okay, so you are saying that PYQ is definitely very important because
Yes,
there's something we also used to do in our foundation class. तो स्टूडेंट्स, PYQ एक ऐसी चीज है, आप फाउंडेशन अगर कर रहे हो या किया है या करने वाले हो और PYQ आपने नहीं किया है तो आप बहुत गलत कर रहे हो अपने साथ. विदाउट अंडरस्टैंडिंग व्हाट काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चन यूपीएससी हैज आस्क्ड यू, यू कैन नॉट अफोर्ड टू कीप ऑन स्टडीइंग एंड रेफरिंग बुक्स. पता चला यूपीएससी ने जो पूछा है उसका आप आंसर नहीं दे रहे हो, आप बस बुक्स पढ़ते जा रहे हो क्योंकि आपको मजा आने लग गया. गलत चीज है. ठीक है, मजा अलग जगह है, इंटरेस्ट अलग जगह है, बट प्रैक्टिकल रियलिटी को भी हमें देखना है कि हमें स्कोर भी चाहिए. इवेंचुअली हमारा इंटरेस्ट रिफ्लेक्ट होता है हमारे मार्क्स से. आप जितना ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट रखते हो और मार्क्स कम आते हैं तो लोग शक करने लग जाते हैं कि भाई आपको इंटरेस्ट नहीं, आप ऐसे ही आए हो यहाँ सोशियोलॉजी में इंटरेस्ट नहीं. ओके, सो पीवाईक्यू का एनालिसिस आप जरूर करो और जब आप करते हो तो आपको पता चलता है किस एरिया से कितने क्वेश्चन आ रहे हैं, कितना वेटेज है. और मेरे को याद है जिस साल अश्विनी, शायद लास्ट ईयर की बात है, कुछ क्वेश्चन आप प्रेडिक्ट भी कर सकते हो. ऑल्दो आई एम नॉट सजेस्टिंग यू टू प्रेडिक्ट द क्वेश्चन. लाइक एक बैच में कभी मैंने कहा था डिवीजन ऑफ लेबर इस साल पक्का आएगा, जस्ट बिकॉज क्योंकि मुझे लगा प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन में वो काफी टाइम से नहीं आया था, 6 साल हो गए थे नहीं आया था, तो आई थॉट कि यार अब आएगा, और बाय चांस वो आ गया. बट ऐसा नहीं कि ये तुक्का बार बार लग सकता है. वो पैटर्न देखने पे आपको एक आइडिया लग जाता है कि यार इसका चांस है. Okay, we should not skip this question, although nothing is to be skipped, but still you should always keep analyzing PYQ for GS also. Next question, Imran, you are best. Thank you, Imran. Yeah, okay. Akash Reddy, ma'am, in sociology or GS, if we do not know any answer, how to handle that on exam day? Exam के दिन आकाश को अगर कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं आ रहा है तो उसको कैसे हैंडल करें अश्विनी, जीएस हो या सोशल?
Sir, in mains, that is the plus advantage we have, sir. In prelims, if we don't know the answer, we don't know the answer. We cannot go and write the answer. But in mains, we can write something relevant to that particular topic asked in the question. For example, sir, I think in GS2, in polity, there was a question on evolution of model code of conduct. But I don't know the evolution, when it started and how it started and how it evolved through the years. But I know what is model code of conduct right now and how the rules are there and what's the power of election commission with respect to model code of conduct. So I wrote those things, and in GS2 I scored 111, sir, 111. So I think something relevant to the question we have to write if we don't know the exact thing what they're asking. But it should be maximum one question in each paper, sir. But we have to study all the topics. If we are not skipping, I think this kind of situation won't happen in the examination hall, not knowing anything about the question. Yes.
So, Akash, basically, it's very normal to not know few questions.
Yes, sir.
Final day exam. It's very normal. But what is more important is then you should not skip those questions. You should at least write something around those ideas. So, although Aswini did not write exactly what was demanded, that is evolution of model code of conduct, but she discussed model code of conduct. Okay, so that means she ensured at least half of marks she may get easily. Okay, she would not get 0. Okay, तो ये इतना ही करो, हमें कौन सा हर एक में हाईएस्ट लाना है जीएस के अंदर, सारे जीएस के में हमें हाईएस्ट लाना है, वो हमारा टारगेट नहीं. हमारा टारगेट है कि हम क्वालिफाई करें अच्छे रैंक के साथ. Okay, so next question is Prajwal, how many full-length tests did you solve for sociology?
So all the tests I wrote was for 250 marks, sir. After the prelims examination, the tests I wrote, each test is for 250 marks. But the full portion test or the full syllabus test, I wrote around 4 tests, sir, including paper 1 and paper 2. I would say paper 1, 2 tests and paper 2, 2 tests. Full syllabus tests, I did 2 tests. And other split tests also, I did it for 250 marks, sir.
Okay.
Complete 3 hours test.
Same is the pattern of our test series. In test series, we have done is that we have 6 full-length tests, which are sectional according to syllabus, but full-length according to marks, 250 marks each. But we have 2 full-length paper, that is full syllabus paper, at the end of the sectional test. So 6 plus 2, 8. And those 2 full-length tests would be conducted on the same day. This year we have a same day session on the 2 tests with 3 hours gap. Okay, just to test you on same conditions. Fine. Rishikesh Yadav, how much time should we spend maximum? Spend where, Rishikesh? थोड़ा precise कर देंगे, अपने क्वेश्चन को थोड़ा क्लियर कर देंगे. प्रज्वल एक बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है. In paper 2 of sociology, the answer can look like GS. Okay, it seems like GS sometimes, according to Akash. How to make it sociological?
Sir, in paper 2, most of the syllabus is GS-ish, including some thinkers into the answers will make it sociological, and also writing sociological examples. For example, the untouchability, if it is spoken, if the question is on untouchability, in GS we would write untouchability events which happened in India, like how some issues happened. But in sociology, we need to write the analysis of some thinkers and give it examples. So I think bringing in sociological thinkers and also some examples will be GS sure in paper 2. I think it is more acceptable to write some GS examples in paper 2. Right? We can also write examples of some acts, schemes, policies in our sociology paper 2, sir. Something can be included from GS, but also if we here and there include some thinkers and sociological terms, I think it will become a sociological answer, sir.
Okay, so you are saying
We
that
can't completely avoid GS into paper
yes.
2.
In fact, it is wrong to completely avoid GS, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
We should not think that these two are opposite. Social and GS are complementary, just like sociology, economics, political science are complementary disciplines. So, as far as these two are complementing each other, well and good. So, we should not be wary or scared of introducing GS in our answer. Although we can make sociological, as Ashwini is saying, by introducing keywords, some thinkers, and some application part as well. Okay, because there are thinkers who have discussed on every issue. Although you may get some bouncers every year, क्या कहते हैं प्रज्वल, कुछ बाउंसर तो आएंगे देखो, लेकिन बेस्ट चीज क्या है, हमारे पास सोशियोलॉजी में चॉइस होती है, जीएस में तो चॉइस है नहीं, तो अवॉइड करो ऐसे क्वेश्चन को जहां पे आपको लग रहा है कि टू मच ऑफ जीएस हो जाएगा या फिर टू मच ऑफ करंट हो जाएगा. ऑलवेज गो विद द स्टैटिक और थियोरेटिकल पार्ट, समथिंग जो आप में जिसमें आप कंफर्टेबल हो. ओके. Akash Reddy, man, can you tell in simple way that how sociological answers should be in sociological perspective until how much extent we can mention thinkers? आकाश, ये क्वेश्चन ऑलरेडी हम ले चुके हैं, इस तरह के क्वेश्चन ना. बेसिक आइडिया वही है आकाश. इसके ऊपर मैं एक सेशन भी लूंगा. आप लोग की जो क्वेरीज हैं इन सब के ऊपर अभी बहुत जल्दी कल एक सेशन ले ले हमारे हम लोग. कल भी होएगा, परसों भी होएगा. 5th को हमारा फाउंडेशन स्टार्ट हो रहा है. उससे पहले आई बी conducting a session every day to solve the queries, because कई student आते हैं तो it becomes difficult to sit with each and every student क्योंकि time तो limited ही है. तो I thought कि this session is the best thing that we can do every day. तो आकाश, इन क्वेश्चंस को मैं आगे जाके लूंगा. सुधांशु मालवीय, मैम what are the strategy followed for essay writing? Okay, सुधांशु पूछ रहे हैं essay के लिए आपने कुछ स्पेशली स्ट्रेटेजी फॉलो करी?
Sir, this also writing essays, sir. The writing practice is very important, sir. Last mains, I lost interview call just because of essay paper. I scored only 94 in my essay in last essay paper. But this year I have scored 133. So I think I worked on the structuring of my essay. So if there is a topic or a line given in the question paper, how can we break that topic and address each and every part of the essay with known examples? Earlier, I used to think that we need to use some complex examples and examples from Hollywood movies. Toppers, when I see toppers copies, some essays are very complex that I don't know that particular information, and I will feel demotivated seeing those essays. But then I started using simple examples. For example, Buddha, Gandhi, Ashoka, and here in the negative shades, using Hitler, and also examples from Mahabharata and Ramayana. So using what examples I know to structure the essay better. So this strategy I followed in this particular mains. Earlier, I used to get afraid of writing an essay, sir, thinking that we need to use more complex examples and we need to use a very sophisticated English to get more marks. But when I made my essay simpler and interesting for the examiner to read, I scored better. So structuring the essay is important with simple examples. And I think the author needs to connect with the essay, that this is who I am. So I think that is important to score more in essay. And I think it worked, sir.
आपने एक चीज बड़ी अच्छी बोली कि it's very important to connect.
Yes,
what
sir.
you mentioned in terms of a statement, whether it is philosophical statement or not, you should connect it with your everyday life.
Yes,
You should become a philosopher by yourself, thinking as to who was the philosopher who gave the statement, right, Ashwini?
Yes, sir.
क्योंकि कई स्टूडेंट्स को अश्विनी ये लगता है कि फिलोसॉफिकल जब कोई ऐसे आता है तो हम कौन सा उसमें, हमने वो फिलोसफी तो हमने पढ़ी नहीं तो हम कैसे करें. तो दिस इज व्हाट इज बीइंग टेस्टेड बाय द एग्जामिनर. He is not interested in the GS knowledge or the level of vocabulary that you have. He is interested in the way you can connect it with your everyday life. Okay, so and second thing which Ashwini is talking about is the structure of writing essay, by which I hope she is meaning that the last line of your first paragraph and the first line of your second paragraph should be in sync with each other. They should not be haywire. That there should not be disconnection or complete fragmentation. there should be sync between the paragraphs so that you feel connected throughout the reading process, the way you feel connected when you are reading editorial. Okay, so we'll take one last question, Aswini, for this session. For a sociology student, is it necessary to prepare for GS1 society also?
Sir, bringing some history part into society is needed in GS part, sir. But this year's society answers are more sociological in my perspective, sir. I think only if people of sociology would write a better answer for society questions, because the tribal issue problems, definition of tribe. What are the issues in defining tribes? This was asked in a society paper. That was not even mentioned in the syllabus. So sociology students can give better society answers, and also some GS topics which we don't have in our like urbanization. We have in our sociology paper too, but urbanization schemes and problems of urban life and more of international organizations, definitions, these things we will get it from GS. But a sociology student can give a better society answers. Without using thinkers, we need to just put the theories in the society papers. So.
Yes. As Aswini has suggested, that we should not be writing thinkers or theories in GS1, but definitely sociology students does have an unfair or a fair or the undue advantage of having sociology subject, just like PSIR or anthropology student be having. Okay, so that is something. But yes, we should not be writing that technical knowledge. The examiner is simply interested in whether you can decipher the question and write in limited things. He is not interested in scholarly language. Okay. So yes, sociology help करता है GS1 में, क्योंकि आप क्वेश्चन की डिमांड जल्दी पकड़ लेते हो. स्पेसिफिकली अगर इस तरह के क्वेश्चन आए जैसे इस साल आए.
Yes, sir. This year's society question.
Oh, it was very normal, right? Anybody could attempt. So I think we should take all these questions some other time. I think we have already taken a lot of questions. So last question, okay, I'll take Rohan Osarmal is asking, ma'am, as you mentioned, we have to write too much theory in the paper. So what if I stick to the keyword from the question and write in diagrammatic form? So will it be okay, or my marks might get deducted? Okay, you can answer this question first.
Sir, I don't prefer diagrammatic representation in sociology papers, sir. Only writing words is more easier, I think, sir. Because diagrammatic, we cannot express more in humanities paper. Might be in GS paper, we can do it. For history, chronology, if chronology is alone written, we can score more marks. But here in sociology, we need to express and connect the theories with the events. So structuring with words is better, in my opinion, sir.
Right. So briefly, you are saying that in answers, you can't make diagrammatic. You can't have diagrammatic approach. Although for your notes, you can have diagrammatic approach. You can make your diagrammatic notes, but not the diagrammatic answers. And even if you're trying to make diagrammatic answer, it's fine. But you can't assume that those diagrams are going to give you marks. Okay. So diagram should only make the job of examiner easier to make your answer visible. You can't expect the examiner to give you extra mark for making diagram. Okay, that will be unfair, because UPSC has not mentioned anywhere that making diagram will give you extra mark. So with this session, with this question, we wind up this session. Aswini, it was really pleasure to have you with us, and many students wanted to have this session with you so that they can benefit, and I'm sure many students might have taken a lot of benefit with this session, and they will keep on posing such questions to us so that we can forward those questions to you in future. Yes. So students, with this, I would like to make a very brief announcement here. Although I'll be making a video on the courses also later on, tomorrow or day after tomorrow. We are soon launching Sociology crash course and test series for all the students who will be writing mains and even for those students who are not writing mains, because at least those students would get opportunity to compete against those students who are writing mains. तो भले अगर आपको डाउट भी है थोड़ा सा कि मेरा मेंस मेरा प्री इस बार नहीं हो रहा, तो भी आपको सोशियोलॉजी के टेस्ट सीरीज या क्रैश कोर्स के थ्रू अपनी रिवीजन को, अपने होल्ड को जो आपने बना के रखा है, अपने नोट्स को जो पेंडिंग है, या अपनी क्लासेस को जो पेंडिंग है, या अपने आंसर राइटिंग को जो पेंडिंग है, उन सबको कंप्लीट करने का मौका आपको मिला है इस बहाने। ओके, तो कुछ इस नेगेटिव साइड में अगर कुछ हम पॉजिटिव ढूंढें और अपने आगे का सोचें, ताकि हम अपने इस टाइम को वेस्ट ना जाने दें ये सोच के रिपेंट करके कि यार नहीं हो रहा पेरेंट्स, कोई बात नहीं, इस बार नहीं हो रहा, अगली बार रैंक आ जाएगा, मीन्स हो जाएगा, ठीक है। लाइक ऑल इंडिया रैंक 1 is clear cut example. She could not clear prelims twice, but this time she got rank 1. Okay, so it's important that once you clear prelims, then you clear the mains right away, because वो मौका बार बार नहीं आएगा, तो उस मौके के लिए अभी से तैयार हो जाओ. This is my advice to all of you, and with this I would conclude the session. Thank you, Aswini, so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It was pleasure meeting you again and answering all the questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.